Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, the Say No to PPO series. I am your host today, Jordan Comstock, and Ben, he's out working hard like usual while I'm on the podcast having fun. He's out in the state of Washington, I believe, helping a practice in-house today, this lovely Friday. So we miss you, Ben. We want you to be on the show again so we can hang out and have a good time. But today I have an awesome guest. But before I introduce her, I want to remind everybody about Voices of Dentistry. That is the end of January, I believe the 25th and 26th. Ben and I both will be there. We'd love to see our listeners come and attend that event and come and hang out with us and all the other podcasters. So just go to voicesofdentistry.com and register for that show. It is in Arizona, and it's in a really nice hotel there in Phoenix that they did last year. So we'd love to see you there. So today on our show, I have Xaña Winans from Golden Proportions of Marketing. She's the president and owner. Xaña, how are you doing?
I couldn't be better. Literally could not be better. How are you?
I am doing awesome. So we met a couple weeks ago in Arizona at the Jumpstart by Vanessa Emerson, the dental speaking conference there. So, and Xaña is good friends with our good friend Genevieve Poppy. So we had some time hanging out down there in Arizona and got to know Xaña and a couple team members there at Golden Proportions Marketing, and I really enjoyed meeting them and their concept of marketing in dentistry. So we decided to bring Xaña on the show. So Xaña, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into dentistry? How did you get into starting Golden Proportions Marketing?
So I got to take you way back, like literally 27 years ago.
Here we go.
I got into dental marketing because I fell in love, both with dentistry and my husband when he was in dental school.
Okay, yeah.
And so it is entirely his fault. I've been in marketing since I got out of, frankly, since I was in college and ever since. But like any good wife of a dentist, I helped him market his practice. Right. And it turned out that what we were doing, we were pretty darn good at. So 18 years ago, I decided on some referrals from other people who kind of asked if I could start helping them with their practices, that it was time to establish an agency. So it's been a long, fun ride.
So 27 years you started because your husband basically went into dental school and made you do this. That's just to sum it up.
Pretty much. It's totally his fault.
It's totally his fault. I know how it goes because my entire family is in dentistry, and honestly, growing up, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with dentistry. And then, of course, here I am today. Seems like once one family member gets in dentistry, you can't get out, and it kind of sucks the whole family in, right?
In a good way, though, because
in a good way, yeah.
I always say for an industry of 200,000 dentists, this is actually one of the smallest, most intimately connected groups I've ever had the pleasure of working with. It's like everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody, and it is. Over time, I've definitely have fallen in love with this industry because of that, and there's just a lot of good people that I've met across the nation in this industry. So, yeah, it's just a good one to be a part of.
It is.
So today I wanted to bring Xaña on the show because, well, a lot of our listeners are trying to reduce dependence on PPOs, hence our website name, saynotoppos.com, right? So in order to do this, you got to have a great marketing strategy that actually works, right? Especially if the other day I spoke to a practice and they called me up and they're like, Jordan, we're dropping all of our PPOs now and we're starting at the beginning of the year. We're going to just go for it. I'm like, whoa, have you thought about like marketing strategies and things like that? They're like, no, we're just going to go for it. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be challenging, but I hope you guys can get through it, right? So I wanted to bring Xaña on the show today to educate us on successful marketing. And the first question I have for you, Xaña, is the importance of having some sort of annual plan for marketing. So why should a dental practice have an annual plan for their marketing?
Great question. So I'm sure everybody has heard that old quote, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much exactly what it is with a marketing plan. Is most practices, because they don't have a plan, they don't end up going where they wanted to go because they never had a direction in the first place. So the whole point of a plan is to kind of force you to start with the end in mind, to say, here's what I want to accomplish, what changes I want to make in my practice. And then the plan is really the execution step by step of the strategies. They're going to get you there. And I find literally following a plan increases your chances of success like 100 times over.
Cool. So let's go into some details. Like, what does an annual plan look like? So pretend I'm a practice owner, Xaña. What topics do we talk about in an annual plan?
Okay. So any practice needs to start with goals, which is that start with the end in mind.
Yeah.
And that means being really specific in what do they want to accomplish.
I want to have 500 more patients in my office type goal.
You and everybody else, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of new patients.
Well, so it helps to be way more specific. I always say start with your baseline. Once you figure out what it is you are dying to accomplish, you have to measure where you are right now to see if that's even realistic.
Okay, I got one new patient coming each month. Can I get there?
You can't get to 500 a year the very first year, but
all right.
Marketing is a slow and steady process. So
it is.
You figure out those goals, and the goals everybody tends to think of like marketing goals as how many new patients a month do I want, but there's so much more of it. They should be thinking about, is there a certain type of procedure I want? Do I want more implant patients? Do I want more pediatric patients?
Okay. Do I want more membership plan patients?
Do I want more membership plan patients? Hey, you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
Recurring revenue in a practice is one of the best things to keep a practice stable.
Oh, yeah.
And it just keeps people engaged with your brand.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems that I see in practices that is like the enemy of all marketing is retention. And that's what a membership plan conquers, is people aren't walking out the back door. Rates. Yeah, because they're committed to you. They have literally demonstrated that by paying a membership fee.
Yeah, so you're saying could be part of a marketing strategy.
That should be a huge part of a marketing strategy.
I agree. It's definitely a huge part. Cool. So we got making sure you have the goals, and then you get specific on goals. Like you said, what you want, a procedure that you want to market more. Do you want, like a membership plan, or what else can we go to when we're doing an annual plan, or think about when we're doing one of these?
Well, when they're doing their goals, they should be kind of looking at every stage of the marketing funnel. Okay. Do we have enough brand awareness? Does the community know who we are? Are we visible?
Okay.
What are we doing in terms of lead generation? Are we literally generating enough leads? Are we making the phone ring often enough? And then, frankly, one of my favorites, and I know one of Genevieve's favorites, is we've made the phone ring. Are we turning those phone calls into appointments?
Are we converting? Yeah.
The biggest missed opportunity when it comes to marketing. It's my pet peeve that doctors spend all this money making the phone ring and they aren't tracking their conversion. That's marketing.
That's a big part of the process.
It is. I mean, it's sales. It's if you aren't doing that, you are wasting your time and energy marketing.
I agree.
So they got to look at that. They've got to look at their treatment plan presentation, and are they getting people to convert? That's all marketing. It's internal.
Yeah.
They got to look at referrals. They've got to look at retention. They got to see marketing as literally every single step that patient has in their relationship with the practice that keeps them engaged for a lifetime.
Is there a way, you speak about retention or churn, right? Which is like cancellations or just
huge
people
problem.
Yeah. And every business deals with, retention problems or churn. What is there any metric in like the practice management dashboard that helps them understand their churn or retention numbers?
It's looking at the number of active patients, and active patients
versus inactive.
versus inactive.
Okay.
So active patients in the dental industry is defined as any patient who has been seen in the practice in the past 18 months. In my mind, by the time you're measuring them at 18 months, you're wasting your time. They're gone.
Yeah.
The amount of, or I guess the percentage of patients that are willing to come back to the practice once they've gotten past that 6 or maximum 8 months starts to really drop off significantly. So they have to have, they need to be measuring that number of active patients literally every single month. How long has it been since we've seen somebody in the office?
Okay, yeah.
And because if you think about it, how many people they set their next 6-month appointment, the 6-month appointment comes up and that patient has to cancel the appointment because a kid got sick or they forgot they had an overlapping appointment.
Life happens, yeah.
Right. And then what happens is quite often the team says, okay, thanks, call us back when you're ready to reschedule. And it slips the patient's mind. They don't think about it again.
Yeah, because patients aren't thinking about their teeth every day, you know.
No, it's just one more thing to check off their list.
Yeah.
And the team is leaving it in the patient's hands to lose people this way to keep them engaged.
Yeah, no, I agree. So those are all good things to think about and to talk about in an annual meeting. Anything else in any topic in that annual meeting, or does that cover it all?
You mean in the annual planning?
Annual planning. Sorry.
That's right. We just had our annual meeting too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think if you're looking at every stage of the funnel, and then there's a couple of steps that I usually take in kind of putting together a plan. It's once you say, here's my goals, and, you know, have we addressed everywhere in the funnel that's important to us? What are our primary objectives? Then you got to go back and measure that baseline and say, okay, I want 500 new patients a month or a year, but so far I'm only getting 300. Is it realistic to set that goal? If not, let's make some adjustments. Mm-hmm. And then you start mapping out the strategies that are going to get you there, literally kind of that step-by-step of the funnel. And it's important not to just start over from scratch. You got to take those things that you know are working really well, and those are the first things that go in the plan. I truly believe that a lot of times doctors are probably 50% or 60% of the way there in their plans, but they kind of tend to lose sight of some things that are just standard parts of their marketing, like a membership plan or an annual benefits reminder campaign, or, you know, whatever these things are that they regularly do, their reappointment software. That's all marketing. So they need to put that and those costs in there first. And then the next part of it's sort of filling in the blanks that say, okay, we're a little weak in lead generation. What else can we be doing? Yeah. And there's lots of strategies that they can employ. It's going to be different in every market, but the plan has to start goals, baselines, you know, and then slowly starting to fill in the strategies. What most practices tend to do instead of a plan, and believe me, I've been doing this a long time. Yeah. We get the response from doctors when we ask them what they've been doing for marketing. Well, I was slow last April, so I did an AdWords campaign for like 3 months and I didn't see a whole lot from it. So I quit that, and then my friend told me about, and it goes on and on like this, right? I'm sure
shiny object syndrome, right?
Shiny object marketing. That's exactly what I call it. And it's absolutely destructive to a practice. So when they're doing that hop in, hop out, honestly, I look at it like you got to think about your marketing like investing in the stock market. If you bought stock and sold it every single day, you're going to lose money hand over fist.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
But yeah, I can guarantee you that.
Exactly. But if you put your money in a fund that has a broad range of stocks that are weighting the distribution of your risk and your reward, and you stick with it over time, you are going to make money almost guaranteed. Yeah. So think of the plan like your 401k. You are not looking for the next Amazon or Apple stock. You are looking for a 10% return on investment year over year over year. That would make anybody happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I definitely agree with that. What have you read the book Traction by Gabriel Weinberg?
No, I can't say I have, but now it's on my list.
Yeah, it's a good marketing book. It's the title is Traction, and it says how any startup can achieve explosive customer growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love this book. One of my favorite marketing books because, Xaña, I am a marketer. I do a lot of our marketing here at BoomCloud.
Mm-hmm.
And I use this book to find it talks about all the different marketing strategies out there. There's a lot, as you are familiar with.
Yeah.
And then it gives you like an action plan of to focus on one and get it working.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, at first, I think you do like 2, and you test out 2, like A/B testing, right? You're testing social media versus direct mail, right? And
right.
you're testing which works for your business or your practice, right? And I actually used this book in the early days to figure out what worked for BoomCloud and how to generate leads and things like that. So if any of our listeners haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. It is a wonderful marketing book that kind of gives you a good mindset on all the channels out there to use, but it also gives you a framework to not go jump to and from different ones and prematurely. So I recommend that book, and you should read it too. It's great. One of my favorite books. So sorry, I didn't mean to like cut you off from.
Well, that's
Say that again. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that book is on my list now.
It's on your list now. Perfect. Okay, so in the annual planning, we talk about all those things, and then my other question is, what about a budget? Does a practice, like, is there percentages like that are common for like gross revenue of a practice? Do they spend like 2% on marketing, or what does a budget look like for a practice?
Well, it depends on what you want to accomplish. So there's a couple of factors. There's some general guidelines, and each one of these guidelines is totally dependent on the market that you're in and how much competition you have.
Okay.
So, for example, 5% of, and by the way, I base it on collections. You can't spend money. You don't have production. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're right off to PPOs.
Yeah.
So you take a percentage of your collections, and we'll talk about that percentage, but you got to look at, 5% in the area that I live in central Pennsylvania is going to spend very differently than a doctor with the same size practice spending 5% in New York City.
Yeah, okay.
So you've got to look at your market and how far the money's going to go. And you got to look at how intense your competition is. If there's a ton of people moving in, or maybe a younger dentist who's much more aggressive because he's in startup mode and he really wants to grow, then you might have to add a little bit more to your budget than you want. But let's say, all things being equal, as a general rule, when a practice is in a really aggressive growth mode, like I want to own this market and I am willing to put whatever it takes in to really kind of get known for this particular product or service or brand, it can be as high as 5 to 7% of collections, which I'm sure there's a lot of doctors on the other end listening to this doing a big gulp right now. But that is not the long term. That is like the 1 year, maybe 2 year burst to get out there and you just dominate your market if you want that. Most practices are in 3 to 5% when they're in growth mode. Like, I want some serious steady growth every single year. And then when they've hit the practice is full and their hygienists are busy and they've figured out retention, and it's just about a matter of like staying steady. Because one of these statistics that I love, did you know about 8% of the American population moves every single year?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you are constantly going to have to keep feeding the top of the funnel with new patients.
Yeah, that's just natural churn, right?
Right. That's just stuff that has nothing to do with the quality of your care or the area that you live in, although some areas are more transient. Mm-hmm. So you do have to always have something, no matter how strong your practice is. There are people that are going to move. So then it kind of goes in the 2.5 to 3%. And that's just to keep up with transients.
Yeah, with the organic churn. So did you say 2 to 3%?
I like 2 to 3%, which when you're dealing with a practice that's even doing, $1 million in collections, that's not as much as you would think.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to kind of get used to percentages and just know that is going to be your ongoing standard. I mean, 2%, if you think about it, is
of like $1 million practice
of $1 million practice. You're talking maybe $1,500 a month. That's not much.
No, that's doable. That's definitely doable. So that was at the steady stage.
That was when you're just like when you're in maintenance, when I'm just sort of replacing what's leaving by people moving, or as I love to hear from my doctors, all my patients are dying, and they have to replace them that way.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, that's good. So, okay, no, this is good information. So if you're looking to for high growth, 5 to 7%, if you're looking for just steady growth, 3 to 5%, and then just to be steady, that's 2 to 3%. So no, that gives us some good frameworks to go to think about your marketing as a practice owner. So very cool. I love that, and I love the percentage because that can scale across any size of practice, right?
Exactly.
I love, and I'm kind of a weirdo. I love percentage based budgets. I don't know if so. Have you read the book? Here's another book. Have you read the book Profit First?
Nope.
By Michael Michalowicz. Okay. All of our listeners out there, you got to get this book. It's an amazing book. It talks about structuring your finances where you're using a percentage based budget, and you're like forcing yourself to make a profit, if that makes any sense. And you use percentage based budgets. So when $1,000 come in, you know exactly how to split that $1,000. And let's say you want to grow fast, 5% of that $1,000 gets allocated to like a savings account for your marketing budget. Right, and then maybe you want to make a 30% profit or whatever. You take 30% of that $1,000 and you allocate it somewhere else and get it out of sight. Right, so it's actually a really cool book, and it talks about just percentages and the benefit of using percentage based budgets, and that falls into line with budgeting for growth, right, for your marketing. So, anyways, I just thought I'd get that out there. Profit First by Michael Michalowicz. He's pretty awesome.
Well, I will tell you, if I can add on to that for the listeners, while I might not have read the book, that's exactly the principles that we have followed for the 18 years we've been in business.
Yep.
We keep what we call a solvency account, and the profit percentage that we want to reach, that comes off the top of every single transaction. It disappears in this account I don't even see.
Yeah.
And then my operating budget is what's left.
Yep.
And it just makes life so much less stressful.
Yeah,
because
you always have cash.
the grand emergency happens and you're totally taken care of. You've got more than enough put away for your taxes whenever they're due.
Yeah. And
there's a comfortable profit left over at the end of the year. It's absolutely the right way to do it. If anyone isn't, they need to read this book.
Yes, it's a fantastic book, and Xaña, that's how I run my business, and it's like smooth selling all the time. Right? Especially when you throw in that recurring revenue, it's even better. So awesome. Okay, let's move on here to my other question I have for you. So what can the dental team do, and what should be sourced to a professional marketer?
Great question. I believe that there is an awful lot that teams can do to support doctors. There are plenty of services out there that are willing to do every last little thing for you, but when it comes to internal marketing, you still have to have team involvement anyway. So, for example, there are some great services out there for reviews, like Len Tao and Bird Eye, good friend.
Yo, Len, he's coming on next week.
I love their software, but I am going to tell you, and he'll tell you the same thing, that you are going to get more reviews and stronger quality reviews when the team and the doctor are personally telling the patient, when we're done with this appointment, I'm going to send you a link for a review. I would love for you to share your feedback about our practice. Yeah. And because it's personal, you get there's such a wide difference.
Well, and then at the end, when the doctor or team member says, we're going to send you this review, will you give us a review? And then just shut up and let the patient answer. And they'll say yes, and they subconsciously commit to doing that, right?
Exactly.
So I would agree. Yeah, I agree 100% with what Len. Does Len tell people that? Did you say that? I missed it.
Actually, I don't know if that's exactly what he tells them, but I love.
Well, he should, because it sounds good.
Yeah, it facilitates the whole process, but you still have to have the team involved. So that's things that your teams can be doing.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing comes with referrals. Social media, there are some great platforms out there that just automate the whole thing. but social is about personal.
Yes.
So teams taking photographs of the patients in the practice and tagging people and showing their involvement in the community and showing the personal character of the practice. All those kind of things that absolutely should be done internally by the team.
Yeah, I know we do for our social media. We started doing we have a videographer guy now that's coming in on our team, and he this week we've been taking like little snippets of our team, like just talking and getting interviewed and being funny, and we're posting them on our social media just so people can get to know us, because we're humans run this business, right? We're a software company, but we are a human ran business, and we want people to know that. We don't want to just be one of those software companies with no face, no humans associated with it, right? So that's kind of what we're doing. So the same thing with the dental office, right? You want to let patients know that you are humans. You're not just that Dr. Smith's dental office sign, on State Street, right?
Well, exactly.
Right? That's at least my philosophy. I like to humanize things.
And personally, I think one of the biggest ones, and I'm not saying this just because you and I are talking, honestly, are membership plans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are
you sure? I mean, I'll send you a check after.
A sign on the wall and say sign up for this plan. It doesn't work, just like reviews and referrals. It doesn't work nearly as well as when the team is talking it up and using it as a closing tool on big cases.
Yeah.
And
you got to add a human element to it. Yeah.
Yep.
Just like really reviews and anything else, right? There's a human element, and even like software and like tech companies, they like nothing's 100% automated. There's humans behind it. So just because we live in a high-tech age doesn't mean we can be low-tech and have humans do things like personally ask for someone to sign up for reviews or for the membership program, right? We still live in a human age. No matter what age we're in, the humans are going to be running it. Right?
Well, for a little while longer.
For a little while, we'll see. So that's just how I think, at least. Okay, so anything else? What can a practice do? And what should they source to a professional marketer? What they should source out to a professional marketer, and I'm a little biased about this. Yeah.
But
don't worry, I'm biased about membership programs, but
exactly. But I believe in specialists. I mean, it's part of the reason my agency is 22, 23 people large. And it's because you need specialists for everything that you do. You need specialists in SEO, and in pay-per-click, and in social media, and in graphic design, and direct response copywriting.
Content generation.
I mean, I don't know how to do all these things perfectly. It's why I have hired specialists.
Yeah.
So if it's not something that you are eminently qualified to do, that you went to school to do, that's the kind of thing that is absolutely worth referring out. Because you're going to see, if you're going to invest money in promoting a strategy, you want it to work as well as possible. This is not where you want to experiment, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Agree 100%. So making sure that if it's not under your specialty or making sure that you're getting somebody that knows what they're doing to help. I mean, I'm not going to go to the car mechanic to go get my, crown put on. Right?
I would hope not.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's perfect common sense that if you don't know how to do it, don't assign it to a staff that thinks they know how to do it. You gotta have some specialty skill set in a lot of things in marketing, like the list you just mentioned there. So, okay, very cool. Let's move on. My other question here is, how can offices stay on track with their plan? Right from the beginning of the year, they make a plan, and how can they build in accountability? Because I know that for every business, that can be a hard thing to do when you make a plan at the beginning of the year and then hold people accountable throughout the year. So what are your tips there?
Okay, so accountability is such a big thing in my office. It's something we preach. It's one of our culture points, honestly.
Nice.
And that means that someone is accepting responsibility for making sure that something gets done. It does not mean they are the one doing it. So when it comes to staying on track, I would assign, if the doctor does not want to be completely in charge of this, they could have a team member who is responsible for it. And in the weekly meetings, that should be a regular part of the agenda, where they are looking through that plan. And this is, by the way, anybody can like go on our website, goldenproportions.com, go to the resources tab, and you can download a template for how to build one of these plans. And it'll literally be kind of like a month by month format. So when you're in your team meeting for that month, you should be talking about what is happening that month based on the plan you've set up, and looking ahead a month or two to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to be ready to start another strategy that maybe starts another quarter out.
Okay.
So if it is just a regular part of your agenda, and what's super important when it comes to accountability is the doctors holding, and it could be holding themselves, or holding their agency accountable, or holding their team members accountable. And accountability is not just, hey, I assigned it to you and it's your job to get it done. Accountability has a lot of different stages to make sure that it is getting done the way that it is, that you're expecting for it to be getting done. But there's also some really cool automated tools out there that can provide some of that transparency to prove that what you're investing in from a marketing perspective works. My favorite one is call tracking. Call tracking takes out all the guesswork. We've been using it for, goodness, more years than I can count, because I can tell you to the exact number, to the date and the time of campaign or from your website, and screening those calls to see how many of them converted. But then another big part of it is, are we accomplishing the goals that we set out to accomplish? And it can be helpful to have some software that measures all of those metrics that it takes to run a practice.
Yeah.
So I am a fan of Smart Market Dental, which kind of combines all of that. It has the call tracking, the call screening, has all the practice metrics, has all of your digital marketing tracking in there. And it actually literally, because it connects to the practice management software, it is able to calculate the return on investment on any single piece of marketing that you're doing.
Wow. So what was the name? What was the name of that tool again?
It's called Smart Market Dental.
Smart Market Dental. Very cool. Okay.
Yeah. And it just takes the guesswork out of things. When you have hard, cold numbers, you're not making an emotional judgment on whether or not you think something worked. It's
based
numbers
off of data.
Numbers.
Yeah, it's based off
data.
Of data is important to make decisions. So
data don't lie.
Data don't lie. Wait, did you say data or data?
Data, not data.
I'm just teasing. Cool. No, I love this. So, okay, here's my question for you. Right?
Yes.
Me being the membership guy, right?
Of course.
I love membership plans, and I want to help more and more practices grow these. What are some things that you've seen working out there that help practices grow their membership programs?
So I think it needs to be a regular part of a new patient system.
Okay.
That when that new patient comes to the practice, it's something that's automatically introduced. And so they are presenting savings at a point in time where the patient wants to see value right from the beginning.
Okay.
So that gets that patient engaged and keeps them coming back to the practice if you can get that right in that new patient appointment. But don't be afraid to use it in existing patients. So anybody who has got, you and I obviously know how pitifully low the reimbursement rates are on insurance, or how little it actually pays for the patient.
Yeah.
So, you have a patient who needs 2 crowns and there's a fair amount of out of pocket. A membership plan can save the patient a little bit of money, keep them connected to your practice. I use it as a case closing strategy.
Yes.
When you're sitting there presenting the treatment plan, if you get any bit of hesitation from the patient doing I'm not really sure, that's when you present the plan. You know what? We actually have a membership plan for patients in our practice, and let me show you how much money you can save by becoming part of this membership plan.
Yeah.
Not just this procedure, but also long term.
Yeah.
I love it for case close.
Yeah, it's perfect. So that's a lot of practices are using it for closing cases or case acceptance, whatever you call it. Conversions. That's what I call it. So a lot of it doing there. Do you see any external marketing being used with membership programs?
Oh yeah, I make sure, frankly, that it's on the homepage of any website that has a membership plan. That's when a patient is looking for you and they happen to stumble across your site, if you've got your SEO right or your AdWords right, they're universally usually going right to your homepage. So it needs to be right on the homepage and prominent so people see that opportunity to save, especially since, and you're going to know this stat better than I do, but isn't it roughly like 40 or 50% of the population doesn't even have dental insurance?
Yeah, so it's at over, from what I've read, it's approaching over half the United States doesn't have dental insurance. Yeah. And I mean, I've never had dental insurance. A lot of people that I know have never had dental insurance, and I just think that's going to be more and more common as years go on.
Exactly. And so if we know that roughly half the people who are making it to your website do not have dental insurance, highlighting that membership plan right there or on your social media posts or wherever they're going to get that first line exposure to you, you are immediately giving yourself a competitive advantage over just choosing somebody based on what insurance plan they belong to.
Well, and if you think about it, most patients don't understand that, or they think that they need some sort of benefit program to go see the dentist, which is entirely false, right? And a lot of them don't know about membership programs. I mean, it's increasing now. More and more people are understanding. In fact, I'm getting ready to do an experiment. We're going to go walk to the mall here in the next couple of weeks, and we're just going to randomly ask people if they think they need dental insurance to go see the dentist, and then if they have insurance, and ask them if they know anything about membership programs. We're going to be doing this experiment because I number one, I think it's going to be fun and funny. But number two, I think it's going to give us some, like, it's going to open some dentists' eyes that a lot of practices don't realize that patients, well, I'm sure they do, patients think this way, right? And they can use marketing as a tool to help educate the patients, right? Whether it's through external marketing or